The Lewes sailor's grave is a longtime piece of local lore and oral tradition. Though there is little physical evidence to confirm the cemetery's existence, to longtime residents, the current location of the Cape May Lewes Ferry terminal is a historic potter's field for those lost to the waves. Though ferry transit has existed in Lewes since the late 1800s, plans for the current Cape May Lewes Ferry were introduced in the late 1950s. However, Lewes officials were met with unexpected resistance. Several elderly Lewes locals stepped forward to protest the construction of the terminal on the chosen bayside site, claiming an upwards of 800 sailors called the area their final resting place. The belief in a misplaced cemetery was bolstered in 1939 when it was said bones were discovered on the site. Ralph Jones, who was 93 in 1963, challenged the terminal construction by sharing memories of small wooden grave markers covering the site some 70 years prior. Jones had previously served at the Breakwater Quarantine Hospital during a smallpox epidemic and passed through the cemetery frequently while traveling home from the hospital on weekends. Jones's statement is likely to have a factual basis, as those who passed at the hospital were indeed interred locally, and the exact location of the cemetery was lost. Others claimed the cemetery was common knowledge amongst longtime residents. In an anecdote shared by fellow ferry opposer Mrs. Warren, she claims her daughter once discovered human remains while playing in the region. Otherwise, many accounts exist of unfortunate sailors washing ashore and requiring interment, having succumbed to the dangers of the age of sail. Severe storms were one such hazard. In April of 1915, during a nor'easter, 2 barges anchored off the Capes sank, taking a total of 10 lives between them. 6 of those lost were laid to rest locally in the Methodist Episcopal Cemetery. In some cases, especially those where infectious diseases were concerned, those who succumbed were buried close to where they fell. In 1878, yellow fever-stricken schooner Ida Lawrence arrived off the breakwater. The captain of the ship fell to his illness shortly after arriving in Lewes, along with another sailor. Their bodies were buried on the beach. It is very possible these hasty burials for the prevention of epidemic spread were conflated with the cases of seamen buried in the potter's field. Despite these concerns, construction went forward for the Lewes Ferry terminal. In 1983, nearly 20 years following the completion of the terminal, a monument was erected in memory of those who may call the grounds their final resting place. Though some continue to question the validity of the sailor's grave, others still believe in the sacredity of the site, and paranormal enthusiasts flock to the terminal as a bastion of spirit activity. Museum Minutes is brought to you by the Zwaanendael Museum in Lewes, Delaware, and by the Delaware Division of Historical and Cultural Affairs.